What do you do? How do you do it? How do you stay organized? Just how do you juggle it all? I'm answering all those questions here today. Welcome to episode 6. If you're looking for inspiration, for a place where women are building each other through meaningful conversations, in a definite judgment-free zone, then you are in the right place. Welcome to Confident Motherhood. Welcome, guys. I am so excited to be able to just chat with you guys. If you guys hear anybody over the overcome or anything like that, speakers, I am actually at the hospital right now. I've actually been here since last Tuesday with my brother, which I'll go into details as we talk about all that I do, but just giving you guys a warning. So I get asked all the time, like, how do I juggle everything that I do when I get to speak to people about the things that I do or the things that I'm doing or just my daily tasks and the things that I do. So I am pretty busy as all moms, and I'd say I'm a little bit extra busy because I have 3 kids. They're all in different stages. Hopefully next year they will all be in the same school. But aside from that, I have a brother who is 37 and he's on a wheelchair. He's got spina bifida and hydrocephalus, and so my mom and I are his caregivers, and we are taking him everywhere most of the time. He's had about 17 surgeries, and just has like the mind, I would say, of like a 10-year-old. He's very, very kitty-like, and my kids love him. So they're always playing. So I'm always there with my mom as if he was one of my own. So a lot of my days, a lot of my weeks, that's some of the stuff that's involved within my schedule. And then I also have my mom, who I do go with her to a lot of her appointments. She's undergoing or trying to be on the liver transplant. It's a long story. I'll talk about it on another episode. But it's one of those things where I'm always there with her. I'm always helping her through her things as well. She doesn't speak the best English. She understands it, but doesn't get to speak the best. And so a lot of words when it comes to the medical stuff, we got to just be helping her. So in my daily task, my weekly things. So I have a boy who's 15 who I homeschool. And he is so much fun to homeschool. If you can't seem to read through my sarcasm, I definitely don't feel like I'm the homeschool type of mom. I tried it with him when he was in 1st grade, and I thought I was super mom, but I don't know. I think to be a homeschool mom, you totally have to be fit for that. And I would say that's just not my cup of tea. I'm really busy, and I feel like, not that I can't devote, because I guess if I took the time to do it, I could, but it's just too much for me personally. I feel like they don't really, like, he doesn't really listen to, not that he doesn't listen, but I guess it's just not as serious as if he had a teacher right there with him that he saw every day and things like that. So even with me explaining like how serious it is, it's just kind of like, I'm mom, and to him that's just like, oh yeah, I have some leeway. And so that's always like super tough. But for sure, I would say I'm not like a homeschool mom. Sorry, homeschoolers. So that's one of the things that I do every day, every week, even on weekends. And so then I have another one who's 6 years old. I don't homeschool him. Oh, never will. So I take him to school every day. Actually, now they're in summer. And then we have a 4-year-old who keeps our house super busy. So between taking one to school, picking him back up, dealing with one running around the house, and then our homeschool one, that is just a roller coaster in itself. So we're always running, doing stuff. One is in ballet and horse riding, and one wants to get into karate now. So it's just really busy. It's like the basics with just my kids. The other thing that I do is we are heavily involved in church. And so I do a lot of the media and a lot of the things for church, like our church videos and things like that. So anything that has to do with our graphic department, that's kind of all that I do within our church volunteer work. And that takes up at least today. I'll talk about how I try to schedule my time for that, but it does take a lot of time, and I'm just trying to be really, really good about time management. But that's one of the things that I do. And then, so I have the kids, I have my mom who I help, I have my brother, and so just all those things, and then the brand and all that stuff. So I get asked when I'm talking to women all the time, like, oh my gosh, like, how do you do it? And to be honest, a lot of times I feel like between having a lot of strong faith and a lot of willpower to want to push forward on things, the other major thing is staying organized. Oh my gosh. I cannot go anywhere without a planner. I have to be literally like day by day, have a to-do list, and I have to have like my appointments on time because of the kids and everything. And so everything for me, one of the major things is being organized. For sure, having a calendar, having things laid out. I'm the type of person that like needs to write things down so that I can remember them, because if I just put them on my phone, I forget them, even if I have like a gazillion like reminders. It just doesn't work for me that way. So I have to be writing things a lot. So how do I do it? So organizing myself is like the major thing. The first thing, organizing myself. The second thing is learning to say no. Like, I can't say yes to everything. And I've actually even talked about this with my mom, because I love helping my mom, love helping her with my brother, helping her with her stuff. But there comes times where I have to be like, no, I can't do it. Sometimes she's like, let's just go out, have some fun. And I'm just like, I love to just go and, have some fun, but I have to work. Because I think a lot of times people think that because you're working from home and you're doing things from home, that it's very easy, and there's tons to do because you're working from within the house. I think there's like even more to do, because for me, I can't like just sit down if I have like a messy house, because from where my office is, I can see everything. And so I'm really like OCD. I just like things to be organized. And so I'm not the type of person that could just sit with my house being messy. It doesn't work. I've tried to leave just dishes piled up for a little bit just so that I can work, and it just doesn't work. My kids will tell you. So writing things down, being on a planner, being organized, that's number one. Second thing, learning to say no. There comes a time where you're just going to have to tell people no, and that's okay. This took me years to like years and years to be able to be like, nope, I can't. Even to friends, just not just like my family, friends, like, hey, I can't do it. I really do have a lot of things to do or have to get here today. And so learning to say no. And then the other thing is, self-care. For me to be able to do a lot of these things, I do need to take time every week for myself. So whether that's like working out, for me, like working out is like a must. It helps my mind a lot. And so working out for me would be one of my other things on the list. I have to go out of the house for a little bit or take the kids to the park, but I have to get some sort of activity within me so that I can just push through. Just mentally, physically, it's just really good to move. And I'm trying to be at a place where I'm healthier. I can't say that the last few weeks I have been, but I'm always trying. And so that's another thing, just self-care. Whether that's like the gym, like I said, or even just doing my nails, like getting my nails done for me, like 30 minutes of just like 40 minutes of just like self-care for myself. That's very important. The other thing is making sure that even though we're doing all these family things and we're doing all these stuff with our kids, that aside from the busy, like daily things to do and the weekly things to do, that we're also taking time for them to do fun stuff. And with this, I'd say I'm going to be talking in another podcast on like my schedule and how I am adjusting that so that I can give my kids now that they're in summertime, in summer school or summer break, that I can give them the time that they deserve and be a little bit more present. But taking the time for them, like, I can't tell you guys how many times the kids have been like, Mom, can we go to the park? Can you take us to the swings? And I've just been like, I really have to work, or I have to do stuff around the house. So I've learned, or I'm learning, that just because we're doing all these things on a weekly basis and because we have to do them in appointments and all that stuff, no, I'm taking the time to actually have fun with them. And I know this seems like, oh my gosh, you should be doing that, but I wasn't. It's really sad. One of my little boy was like, Mom, you're always working, you're always on the computer. Can we just go play? And since he told me that, I've made it a point that every day, or as we can, at least during summer, we're doing something. It doesn't have to be something you're paying for. It could just be, like I said, a run to the park. So I'm taking them to the park or doing things with the passes that we have to do stuff locally. And that's one of the things. So making sure I'm giving them time, and it's like valuable time, like my valuable time. The next thing is also my husband, going on date night, doing things with your husband, your spouse. But if you're a single parent, sometimes that can be really hard. Maybe just join with a friend, maybe a girlfriend that can just go have fun with you guys, or come over, you go over their home, and just, have a good time for a few hours, and just chat. Those things, I know it seems like, oh my gosh, you're taking time out of your day, of your schedule, when you could be doing a lot of things, but sometimes you just have to pause, do those stuff, and just kind of refuel, So, yes, those are a lot of the things that I do, but I'd love to hear what it looks like for you, of course. So make sure you reach out to us. Make sure you reach out to me at Confident Motherhood and let me know. I would love to engage in this conversation when we do post about this podcast. But make a list. So make a list of all your things that you do, like the activities, the events that you have to do on a constant basis, or, on a weekly basis, or appointments that you have to do a lot of. Like one of the other things that we do is therapy for Ezra. So he has to go every Thursday for therapy, which is another thing on our list. But just make a list of everything that you have to do, and then find what best ways you stay organized or on top of things, whether that's on your phone or maybe a planner like me. Figure out what works best for you. And then the other thing is, so the organizing, the next thing is saying no to things, other things that you really just can't do, or things that you just don't see yourself being able to accomplish and manage what you already do. Learning to say no. Self-care is super important. So just taking that little bit of time to just refuel. And valuable time to give to your kids, your spouse, friends, and yourself. So not just the self-care, but that valuable time with your kids, and the valuable time with your spouse, or the valuable time of you and a friend, just catching up and being able to just kind of refuel. So I love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what type of things you do to stay organized. What do you do to juggle motherhood, to juggle work, to juggle everything? Because everyone has their own way. So I would love to hear from you. Make sure you write us at hello@confidentmotherhood.com and tell us, right on there, episode 6, and let us know, like, what ways do you juggle motherhood? And if not, send us a direct message on Instagram and tell us, like, what ways do you juggle motherhood? How do you stay organized? Or what do you do to tackle it all and be fabulous at it? And I know that sounds so funny, but like, we are fab, even if we're a hot mess. We juggle a lot, we do a lot, we multitask, and that's just the nature of what's inside of us, just motherhood. We're always on it. Believe it or not, we are always on it. So thank you so much for listening today to me. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode, and I will talk to you guys next week. Thank you for being here with us today. We hope that you're inspired, encouraged, and empowered to live confidently through your motherhood journey. You can find me on Instagram at Confident Motherhood or our website, confidentmotherhood.com. For any topic suggestions, questions, or stories you'd like us to share with our audience, please write us to hello@confidentmotherhood.com. Talk to you soon.